Mia Fishel, hi. Welcome back to the women's game and congratulations on the recent move. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just happy to be here, finally settled and unpacked.
Ah, that must be so nice. That's such a good feeling. We have so much to catch up on. The last time we spoke was actually on stage in New York City, and you were in the midst of rehabbing your knee with Chelsea. Now you've just made headlines for your blockbuster move to the NWSL in the Seattle Reign, a move that honestly seems like I would say appropriately against the grain for somebody who I know really prides themselves on creating and forging their own path all the time. At this moment in the kind of global game, so many American players are choosing to play in Europe that it actually like really makes sense to me that you would set your own trend and come back to the States. How are you feeling in this moment with the news just recently dropping? And was the reaction what you expected?
Yeah, I feel amazing about the move. A lot of support from a lot of different people, like a lot of coaches, a lot of friends and teammates. So it's just nice to feel kind of supported in that way. And like you said, a lot of players are going to Europe, and I feel like I did that first. And so I think people are catching on, like, okay, maybe you want to go now to Europe or just kind of take your journey elsewhere. So I just feel like I got as much out of the experience from going to Mexico and going to England as well that I feel like ready and all tooled up to come home.
Ah, I love that. Well, we're literally so happy to have you. You've had a steady return to the field in the past few months. I know you've been coming off an ACL injury. You played for Chelsea a handful of times in the spring. You joined up with the US U23s in May and June for some games against Germany. I know sometimes returns from injury take a little bit of time to feel fully yourself again, but I want to hear from you as you start this new journey with Seattle. How are you feeling physically, and do you feel like you're back to your full self post injury?
Yeah, I feel honestly really good. I feel like I felt really good in January. So I know that I came back like officially in March, but the way that my rehab was going, I was ahead of schedule. And my PT was like, don't rush it. Like there's no need, even though you feel like 100%, you feel like you're ready to fly. Like it does help when you wait a little bit longer. Like even just a month can increase, you know, the risk of not re-injuring it again. So I just wanted to make sure like I came back right. I came back fully fit, but I felt good in January. So I was kind of like slow rolling myself, got some
Yeah.
minutes in March because I know that Chelsea was also being careful about my return and making sure that I'm coming in the games that aren't competitive. And it was so funny because like 3 games, it was like 1-0, it was 2-1. I'm like, come on, guys, can you guys please make it like 3-4-0 so I can get in this game? So that also delayed my return back. And then, as the end of the season kind of ramps up with Chelsea and the importance games, like I wasn't able to just get those good minutes in that, it's kind of difficult coming off an ACL injury and the amount of time I've been off. So right now I'm
Right.
just continue to build from that and try to play as much as I can to get that game fitness. As we all know, I can do as much conditioning as possible, but a game fitness is just totally different. So I'm just building that right now, but I feel good. I feel happy, and I trust that Seattle is going to integrate me back the right way.
That's incredible to hear. I'm so glad you're feeling good. I'm going to rewind a little bit. You mentioned this, but for anybody who may have forgotten your journey, Mia, you went pro after only 3 seasons of college soccer at UCLA. Go Bruins. But instead of playing in the NWSL after you got drafted, you chose to play in Mexico because I'm sure for a multitude of reasons, but you were also critical of the draft system, which gave players at the time very little say in what teams they got to play for. You were immediately a massive star for Tigres, winning the league's top scoring award, as well as helping Tigres to win the championship. Then you went to play for Chelsea after just about a year. And now here we are 3 years into your pro career, and you're making this another bold, really exciting move. Can you tell us a little bit about how you knew it was time to make another move and why it felt right now to come to the NWSL?
I have, a gift of knowing when it's time to go and a time where I've hit the ceiling on what I'm supposed to learn in that experience. I got that feeling in Mexico. It hit me with Chelsea a year and a half into my time there. And I knew that, especially after an ACL injury, I'm going to need the support and playing time to be where I want to be at. I obviously want to be on the U.S. Women's national team. I know how important it is to get playing time, and I'm honestly very, very grateful to be, in an environment like Chelsea that pushed me every single day and full of stars. I exponentially grew, and now it's about playing. I think in my mindset, and I know how competitive it is with Chelsea. And I knew that I wanted to be an environment where I can, show my talents and show why I deserve to be playing, why I deserve to be on the U.S. Women's National Team. And I also knew that I had some familiar faces in the NWSL that, I can trust with my next journey, especially with, the Olympics, World Cup coming up for the U.S. Women's National Team. So, yeah, that definitely was kind of the biggest thing is playing time and just kind of getting this feeling like, hey, it's like I got all that I needed to get out of this experience. Now it's time to come closer to home.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, and it always strikes me that you have such an innate sense of, like, what's best for you and such a, like, deep self-confidence that you seem to be really clear and have a lot of clarity on the path that's right for you. Like I just mentioned before, when you first were drafted into the NWSL, there wasn't a lot of player autonomy or power over where they got to play, and now you're kind of entering into this whole new league. The players fought really hard in their CBA negotiations to gain that autonomy. The draft has been abolished, and players can't be traded now without their consent. Did those changes to the league kind of impact your decision to come back here now?
Yeah, definitely. I knew at the time when I got out of UCLA that the league was just not ready. Like I could just, with all the allegations, all the lawsuits that was happening, it was just. I think for me at that time, it's like, okay, this is too much. I don't know a lot. I didn't know about the team that drafted me, so that was definitely a not good feeling at all. Just not knowing what I'm stepping myself into, knowing how important I take my career decisions. So now that it's opened up, and obviously, now we see a lot of youngers coming into the league and a lot of players having, the choice to be where they're at is just amazing. That helps grow the league, that helps other players and across the world come to the NWSL. So it's just a great feeling that, the players have a little bit more say in what they want to do.
Definitely. I know that when you went to Chelsea, you said that you were looking to play with some of your heroes to really grow and develop your game. You just mentioned all the players that you're exposed to at training every day, the stars of Chelsea. There's like literally too many to name. You also mentioned to me last time we spoke that when you said when you came to the NWSL, you wanted to be in your prime. I'm curious how you feel about how you as a player view yourself coming into the league right now, and how did your time at Chelsea help you get here?
Yeah, I will definitely say like this injury has changed me a lot. Physically, mentally, like I'm quicker, I'm stronger, I'm mentally stronger as well. And that's why I've just been kind of like, come on, like get me out on the field. Like I'm ready to show everything that I've been able to grow as a player. As well as the time, just individually, the technical work that you get, just one on one with coaches, the coaching staff at the time, Sonia, are very keen on technical ability. So I even got this kind of different training that you wouldn't see in the States or even in Mexico that I think helped me elevate my game coming back from injury. I think naturally being in an environment like Chelsea, going against Millie Brights and Aaron Cuthberts, I think that naturally that just helps you grow as a player. And the speed of play, coming back from an injury, you kind of just want to slow burn it. But once you're in training at Chelsea, you are fully in, and it's just time to go. So I think that also helped me kind of build this confidence in myself with my game and the player that I want to be on the field. That is just very exciting for me at the time right now.
That's so awesome to hear. I'm like getting so excited to watch you play with Seattle. We've talked about how so much of that confidence that you mentioned, kind of like one of your trademark qualities, comes from you having such an incredible support system. Who did you lean on and talk to while deciding to come back to the States?
Definitely a lot of my family. They've been my supporters since day one, and they're connected with what's going on in the women's soccer and just watching a bunch of games. So I definitely lean on them a lot. Also, my agent with TMJ. We're always talking like every day about just random stuff and where I want to be at and my goals and my dreams. And I think that the connection that my agent has as well in the sports world also helped me choose what was best for me, essentially.
When you went to play for Chelsea, you were initially signed by Emma Hayes, who was the manager there before she came to coach the US Women's National Team. Did you talk at all with Emma about your decision to return to the US?
Yeah, I definitely did. She has, been crucial in my development and where I want to be at. When I first started at Chelsea, I think we built this trust and this kind of transparency with one another on what's best, for my career. And she definitely was saying how it's going to be important for me to play. Obviously, coming back from an ACL injury and getting back up to speed. It's like it's all about play, play, play. So I knew that I wanted to be on a team, that wants to play me, that knows my values and knows how I'd like to play.
That brings us to this perfect place that we're in now. We're going to talk more about Seattle. Obviously, your injury and whatever was going on at Chelsea, this whole time has affected your ability to play with the US. And so moving to the Reign, having these conversations with Emma, you've mentioned this multiple times, you really just need playing time and to get games in the NWSL now. And I think what's so perfect about your situation is that there isn't another national team camp until October, and you actually have this kind of longer runway to get worked in with the Reign and get some real minutes in. How are you hoping that this move to the Reign will affect your future on the national team?
Yeah, I mean, this is why I chose the Reign as well. I think they are the best team to get me where I need to be at when it comes to the coaching. Laura Harvey, we had special connection with the U20s and qualifiers. It sucks that COVID kind of just shattered that whole
Mhm.
dream of winning a World Cup, which I really think that would have happened with that group. But in that short period of time, she made me grow so much as a player and in my confidence that I knew was going to be a big decision coming to the States on the coach. So I knew immediately that I could trust her. And we've talked so many times, over the phone, kind of leading up to this decision about, how she's not only going to, get me where I want to be at, but also push me every single day to be the player that, that is potential. And I think that was definitely a decision that, well, it helped me make that decision as well. And obviously, the team's exciting. It's young. There have been so many clubs with the players at Reign. I think there was like 4 or 5 in the last U.S. Women's National Team. So I also wanted to be in an environment where I'm training every day with the best because I know what that is and what that feels like from Chelsea. That I kind of wanted to be replicated here in the States. And I think that this young team has been playing well, and it's an exciting team. I'm just excited to get started with them.
It sounds like such an incredible opportunity. I also imagine, Mia, that for a player like you, who kind of, was out there saying, maybe I'm looking for a move, so many doors must have been opened. You mentioned, the team, some of the players in Seattle. Obviously, Laura Harvey is like such an incredible coach. And it sounds like your conversations with her were really appealing to you. What else about Seattle felt like the right fit for you?
I think as well as I'm closer to home, I definitely wanted to
Mm,
be in on a team that was accessible to my family who have always wanted to see me play. It's difficult at Chelsea, kind of getting them all the way over there. So I'm definitely
yeah.
happy that my family is close. And as well as, like I said, the conversations I had with Leslie, like the GM and Laura, I think that their vision of me and their kind of pitched what we always talked about since the beginning of my career is like if you're able to sit me down and tell me, how I'm valued, how you see me and your style of play and the environment, the lifestyle. I think it just all clicked in my head that it just never clicked with other teams that I had conversations with, as well as the owner was on the call for Seattle Sounders. So I think that was also the first owner that popped up in the Zoom meeting as well. So I think that there was a feeling of being valued and respected that goes a long way. And I know how important that is coming from, Tigres and how quickly I was able to kind of adapt to the coaching, my teammates. And I think that's why that I was able to shine so quickly. And I'm looking for an environment that I can feel home so quickly that I will perform the way that I want to perform on the field.
I think you explained that perfectly. I feel like there's this like mutual respect that happens when you feel like the club really values you as a player, that you're able to then really quickly
Yeah.
give them your best. Mia,
Hmm.
you're obviously a forward. You're known for scoring goals, but you're also always supporting your teammates, setting them up for goals or even dropping back defensively. The Reigns roster is made up of such a fun mix of rookies like Jordan Bug and Maddie Darlene, as well as pretty iconic NWSL veterans like Jess Fishlock and the one and only Lynn Biondolo, who we actually just saw a picture of you training with, which made me
Yes.
so excited.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on this team that you are just so excited to play with?
I'm really excited to play with G. I have heard so many things from Chelsea. They still talk about G and how she's so goofy, she's so funny, but then she's like a world class top player that just is able to see the game in such a different way. I think that this team is also exciting because they're so fluid. Like you said, there's so many different aspects to this team, and that's why I'm also very excited to just talk to Laura and how she wants to play me because, like you said, like I'm a very versatile nine. You know, I can hold up the ball, I can stretch, I can score in different types of ways. So I'm really excited to see how Laura wants to set up this team for success and be a dangerous team going forward.
Yeah, I think when you think about your best role as an attacking player, what do you think you can do for Seattle that will then set you up well to also go and do that for the national team?
I think I play my best when I make others around me better. And I think that's like the biggest thing. So I feel like I can do that in many different ways depending on what the game asks for. I'm not predictable at all. So I think that my ability to kind of vary my game from game to game is going to be a very cool thing to show to Emma and what I can do because we're up against so many different teams on a national team level that I think my game is suited for any type of game that you want. And I think
Mhm.
me playing that way against the NWSL teams that they set up differently, they have different threats, they have different weaknesses. My game is going to naturally have to change from game to game, and I think that if I'm able to execute each game differently, I think that will be a great asset going into the national team.
That's incredible. It's super exciting to hear. Last year, the Reign finished 13th out of 14 teams, but this year, the Reign have looked renewed, energized. They've been steadily climbing the standings, and currently, they're in the middle of the table in sixth place, and you're joining them just after the halfway mark of the season. What can you tell us about the Reign's plans for their upcoming games and then hopefully the playoffs later this year?
It's an exciting time for sure. I mean, obviously they want to win. Obviously, they'll use momentum as they go into the second half from what it was in the first season. Hopefully, I can help in any way to kind of, get that over the line and compete for playoffs and compete for a championship. But this team has everything. Like that's why I'm super excited to get started because they have a winning mentality. They have a great coach and great players. So that's all you really want to ask for.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be such a great fit. This is my last question for you. I do feel like with so many American stars retiring or going to play in Europe, there's kind of been this like little bit of panic from NWSL fans that we're losing some of our like star power. So I see that you coming here, coming to choosing to play in the NWSL with the way you play, the way you carry yourself, again, that just kind of self-assuredness and confidence that exudes from you, you just feel like the kind of star that the league really like needs right now. How do you hope that your presence here doesn't just help you grow as a player, but helps this league grow?
Yeah, I think that just speaks to my journey, and I feel like you said, everything like has to go through growing pains. And anybody saw at the time when I was coming into the league was going through that. And I feel like it's not anything bad towards it. It's just it's not the right time. And I feel like right now, where the league's going and the momentum that it's at, I think many stars internationally are going to come here just because of like moves like where I'm going to the back to Seattle, and then WSL. I think that it's so the teams as well. Like every game is a final. I really like
Mhm.
that. I like that some games in WSL you don't want to watch. Like it's gonna be 5-6-0, like depending on the game. Like, but when I tune into an NWSL game, any game is good. Like so that
Yeah.
also is very appealing, I think, to players. Um and yeah, like I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to, grow the league if that's what people see it as and kind of root for it for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for you, Mia. I can't wait to be watching you week in and week out. You're already one of my favorite players to watch. I'm so excited that you're going to be playing with Lynn, who's literally my best friend. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to cheer for you with the Rain this season.
Thank you for having me.